Picture this. You've got money. A lot of it. You're a global superstar on the level of Justin Bieber or maybe a high-rolling oil tycoon. You walk into a dealership, toss a suitcase with $1 million on the table and say, "I want that car." Know what happens next? You'll be politely, but firmly, shown the door. In the regular business world, the customer is always right. But the world of Ferrari operates by a different set of rules. This is the only company on the planet that might sue you for repainting your own car, or permanently blacklist you, banning you from ever buying their cars again, simply because they decided you're not worthy of the brand. They've built the ultimate psychological trap. Instead of chasing customers, they make millionaires stand in line, undergo grueling interviews, and literally beg for the right to hand over their money. Today, we're breaking down how the most audacious business plan in history actually works. Why does Ferrari intentionally produce fewer cars than the market demands? How does a simple hat with a prancing horse logo pull in more profit than some of their actual vehicles? And why Ferrari isn't really a car company at all. It's an elite club where the initiation fee costs way more than just cash. Buckle up, we're just getting started. Most companies dream of selling as much as they possibly can. When demand spikes, the factory expands and profits soar. But Ferrari plays by a completely different playbook, one that defies every rule in the economic textbook. It all started with a legendary philosophy from the founder, Enzo Ferrari. We will always build one car fewer than the market demands. This isn't just a catchy quote, it's the bedrock of their entire business empire. When you intentionally choke the supply, you create scarcity. And in the world of ultra-luxury, scarcity is the only currency that matters. Imagine you're a high-flying entrepreneur. You want the latest limited edition Ferrari, so you walk in with a check for several $1 million. But instead of handing you the keys, they hand you an application. The company begins a deep dive into your life. They'll check how many Ferraris you've owned in the past, how often you actually drive them, and whether you flipped your last car too quickly just to turn a profit. To Ferrari, you're not just a customer, you're a brand ambassador. And if you don't play by their rules, you end up on the blacklist. It's not a myth. Justin Bieber earned a lifetime ban for wrapping his car in neon blue and messing with the iconic logo. Nicolas fell from grace when he was forced to fire sale his collection at a discount to cover debts, an act Ferrari viewed as cheapening the brand's prestige. Ferrari has engineered a system where the customer doesn't choose the product chooses the customer. It sounds arrogant, but that very air of exclusivity is exactly what keeps people waiting in line for years. If you think Ferrari makes the bulk of its money just by selling supercars, think again. In reality, Ferrari is one of the most successful licensing powerhouses on the planet. Their prancing horse logo is a total goldmine, generating profit even when not a single car rolls off the assembly line. You might not have $1 million for the real deal, but you can drop $50 on a hat, $150 on some Ferrari-branded Puma kicks, or a few grand on a high-end watch. For the corporation, this is essentially pure profit. They don't have to engineer complex V12 engines or run crash tests on a t-shirt. They're simply selling the right to slap their logo on premium goods. And that market, it's massive. But the true scale of the operation hits home when you look at Ferrari World in Abu Dhabi. It's a massive theme park where the brand cashes in on everything, from roller coaster tickets to the Italian pasta served at the food court. Ferrari has morphed into a lifestyle. They aren't just selling cars, they're selling a seat at the table with the global elite. Here are the numbers that'll make you do a double take. Ferrari's operating profit per vehicle is over $100,000. For perspective, mass market giants like Toyota or Volkswagen only clear a few $1,000s per car. But even those insane margins take a backseat to the brand's overall market cap. The company intentionally keeps production numbers low to protect that it factor. If you saw a Ferrari on every street corner, the merch and the brand would lose their luster. They use their cars as incredibly expensive billboards for everything else they sell. Ferrari isn't a factory, it's a religion where the car is your initiation fee, and for everyone else there's a gift shop pulling in billions. Most people think that if they drop 6 figures on a product, they can do whatever they want with it. Ferrari begs to differ. To them, you aren't just an owner, you're a temporary custodian of their legacy. And if you mess with the purity of the brand, their legal team will be all over you faster than an F1 car hitting the home stretch. The most notorious example of this is the case of famous designer Philip Plein. He posted a photo on Instagram showing his own sneaker sitting on the hood of his own Ferrari. You'd think, hey, it's his property, right? Wrong. Ferrari sued. Their lawyers argued that the photos tarnish the brand's reputation and illegally used the trademark to promote his shoe line. The result? A court ordered Plein to take down the photos and pay hundreds of thousands of dollars in damages. But Ferrari doesn't stop at celebrities. They'll even go after charities. The company filed a lawsuit against the Purosangue Foundation, a small nonprofit dedicated to fighting doping in sports. The reason was simple. Ferrari wanted the name Purosangue, which means thoroughbred in Italian, for their new SUV. They essentially tried to strip the name from the charity, claiming the foundation hadn't used the trademark actively enough. This level of aggression might seem insane, but it serves a calculated purpose. Ferrari refuses to let anyone, even the wealthiest people on Earth, alter its image. You can't just add cheap mods, paint it an unapproved color, or show it in a bad light. It creates the illusion that the brand is something sacred and untouchable. You might buy the car, but the control over its soul and its legacy stays forever in Maranello. We all know the golden rule of the car market. The second you drive a new car off the lot, it instantly loses 20% of its value. That's the law of gravity for Toyota, BMW, and even Porsche. But Ferrari? They spit in the face of basic economics. Here, everything works in reverse. A used Ferrari often costs more than a brand new one. Sound absurd? Remember that artificial scarcity and those waiting lists we talked about? If you're a billionaire who wants a limited edition Ferrari today, instead of waiting 3 years in line, and that's if you get lucky, you have only one option. Buy it on the secondary market, and here's where the magic happens. The guy on the whitelist who bought a new LaFerrari for $1.5 million can turn around the very next day and sell it to that impatient billionaire for 3, 4, or even 5 million. This turns cars into assets. It beats gold, real estate, or crypto. You literally make a profit just for being allowed to spend your money. That's exactly why clients put up with the company's attitude. They know being on the Ferrari whitelist is like having the keys to a money printer, but there's a catch. Ferrari hates flippers. If they find out you sold a new car within the first year just to make a quick buck, congratulations, that was your last Ferrari. You're blacklisted for life. They let you get rich, but only by their rules. So what's the real secret behind Ferrari's business? They figured out something no one else did. They aren't selling speed, leather interiors, or even Italian quality. They're selling access to a private club. They're selling ego. While Ford and Toyota compete to see who can sell the most cars, Ferrari competes to see who can sell the fewest, but for the highest price. It's a business model built on rejection. And while we sit here discussing their arrogance, somewhere in Maranello, another billionaire is signing a check, just happy he was allowed to do it. Ferrari isn't a car company. It's a brilliant luxury brand that just happens to make cars. Thanks for watching. Subscribe if you want to know how the giants really make their money.